So we are live. Hello, everybody. Good evening from Berlin, Germany. To everyone watching us, my name is Mike, and I have here with me my co-host Stephen Boite, and we have a special guest this evening, George, who's going to introduce himself shortly to all of us. This podcast is brought to you by Settling in collaboration with Opportunity Pulse, and as you know, we come here once every other Friday. This episode is a very special one, and as you may have seen from the title, we kind of gave it an interesting name, The Invincible Professional. You know, how you can job hunt and all this stuff. But key thing to understand here is that this episode is not about asking for sympathy or showing empathy. Well, empathy is always good. However, it's more about asking the difficult and constructive questions like why is Germany spending so much money to bring foreign experts or professionals when right within here in Germany you have so many highly qualified diaspora and professionals who are already in this country, but they're invincible, they are underutilized, and you just ask yourself what's going on. So, and this was actually also the core reason why we co-founded Opportunity Pulse. The Pulse, the heartbeat of opportunities in Germany. And the big question always is, how can diaspora professionals become more strategic, visible, and resource-oriented while advocating for a more inclusive labor market here in Germany? And today we're going to learn from the experience of one highly qualified professional, George, that we have here this evening. But before I proceed, I would let my co-host Stevie to get on with his opening speech.
Thank you very much, Mike. Again, to everyone who is following and always tuning in to listen to us. We are very delighted and honored to have you once again. And Mike has already briefly introduced me. My name is Stephen Boite, the co-host, co-founder of Opportunity Pulse and founder of Chiroto Consults, an organization that helps students to find their dreams, study and career dreams all over the world. Today we are here on such a very important discussion where we are discussing what happens after university. When everything is done well and good, you've passed, what happens next? And the invisible person, that is the person that today we have here. We are making him visible today for several reasons that we'll be explaining. But to give a background about this, like Mike, you did a good job to explain already what is actually the purpose of this class. Why was Opportunity Pulse even started? We started it because we saw there is a gap. There is a gap because Germany needs a lot of skilled professionals. There is a shortage of labor, probably larger than any other country in modern history. And the reasons are very known because of the demographical change. The demographics are not playing in Germany's best interest. But on the other side, also, there is a positive aspect. Germany has a thriving, strong industry. So you have these factors. And then on the other side, you have graduates, people who are here, who came here to study for undergrads or for bachelors or masters or PhDs. And there are those who came probably to join their family members. And they started building themselves while on ground. And there is a mismatch of talent or a challenge that these talents are not fully utilized, even as Germany is spending millions, if not billions, trying to get professionals from all over the world. So today we are going to talk about that. For us at Opportunity Pulse, this is not just an economic issue, but this is an issue about people, human beings who come here with hopes, with dreams, and they want to meet those dreams. Some spend huge amounts of money to come. They want to study, to improve their lives and to support their livelihoods. So we want to give this a human face to make these people visible. And I'm very honored and delighted to have a person from my community, the Ugandan community, of course. George is one of those people that I met the first time. And I feel like he's somehow quite a different person. One, he's a very articulate guy. Second, he's a very knowledgeable guy. But I was also very much impressed about his academic achievements. He's going to talk so much about that. but he had a very good attitude. If you remember, Mike, we had that event
Yeah.
that we hosted at the Rivera Strasse Sales 5 venue. So when we finished that, he came to me and said, how can I keep improving myself? How can I get this qualification and that qualification? And what kind of course do I need to do to be able to get into this kind of job? So I watched him as a person who genuinely wants to integrate in the German market, who wants to contribute and to also to improve his life. But also besides that, I found that he's one person that is teachable, that wants to learn, a professional who is always seeking to develop himself. Um, Something that I don't see quite often in people who are looking for jobs because they think they have a degree and they think that's enough. George wants to make sure that he's always at the edge of the competition. Without saying so much, I think George is one of those people that represent this generation of skilled diaspora community members who are professionals, they are ready to contribute to society, but they want someone to give them a chance to contribute. And that being said, I would like to give him a chance to introduce himself to the person who is watching, probably his next employer. So, George, please, the microphone is yours.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Oh my God. I wish I could just carry all that and take it to my interview and present it as is. That would be so nice.
Please go ahead.
Hi everyone. My name is George Ntegeka. I'm a Ugandan living in Germany. Stephen has said so much. I thank you so much for that introduction. I'm humbled. Yeah, been here for close to 3 years now. It's been quite an experience. I recently graduated with a master's in project management in March from Arden University, and I had the honor to win the Vice Chancellor's Award. So that was a really great honor because it shows at least we're doing something. It's really an honor to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Great, George, and thank you also for taking out the time to join us.
Yeah.
And I think your story or situation is also one that we see very often, which is also one of the key motivations to begin everything which we're doing today. As Stephen has already touched on your profile, you do have a wonderful profile, an MSc in project management with distinctions and the award which you just mentioned now, the Vice Chancellor's Award. And then with the experience that you have coordinating projects, volunteering, and now on the other side, it's like so difficult to land, a position, a job. How would you describe your experience so far? Just give us an understanding into what we're going to discuss today. Because the key thing is, I am super qualified. I can do it. I have the experience. It's proven, but I'm still looking for the chance to get in.
So
can you help us understand that?
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. For just generally, it's a very competitive market. Yeah. It's a very competitive market, and you really have to be ready for it. Yeah. When back home, it's a bit. I don't want to downplay our situation, but it's a bit laid back. Yeah. But when you're in such a market, the German market and the European market, it's really tense. Yeah. So as soon as you see a job offer, you have to just know there are like 500 guys who have applied, especially with the remote jobs, with these really big jobs that we want, the project management and data analysis. So the trick is you have to be proactive. Yeah. Very, very proactive. Yeah. Because it's not going to wait for you. You have to jump. You have to jump out and grab it by the neck, if that analogy makes sense. Yeah, and of course, including putting there some other things like internship. You have to consider internship. You have to consider also volunteering, because in such a market, volunteering is very important. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to volunteer so that you show off your skills. You get to show off your skills even before you're paid for what you're doing. So if your employer can see you as you, then it helps them understand you as they're going to give you the job, or something like that. Yeah, but it's quite a competitive market. And for Germany, the thing is, we also don't consider the language. Yeah, the language is a very important part, because right now I'm learning. I'm in school. I'm in Deutsch class. So, and it's interesting because when you're learning the A1 and everything, you think it's easy and all that, but as you get into deeper and deeper, you understand why you have to know these languages. Because when you get into when you learn the culture, when you learn the language, and you start understanding what someone is trying to tell you or something, it helps them communicate. So when someone is communicating to you and you reply with a Deutsch phrase or whatever, they're taken up. They're like, oh, okay, so you can speak everything. Yeah. So you really have to be proactive. You have to be ready for a very, very fast moving market. Yeah.
Thanks, George.
True.
Stephen.
Yeah.
A very interesting one, George. You actually went one step ahead, actually, with what we wanted to find out. But if you allow me, George, take us back to the journey of a student from Uganda, which all of us have gone through. What were the hopes? What were the dreams? What was the drive being to this place where you are right now?
Yeah. So in Uganda, you have this environment where you're maybe thinking that everything is there, but when you get to search online and see these universities and what they're offering, just a backstory. I did quantity surveying, yeah, which is construction, building economics, yeah. And from there, I moved to project management, yeah. So the shift was not so hard because I was doing project management in construction, yeah. But now, when you get an opportunity to do, let's say, a master's in project management, and you're given a chance in Germany, you have to come. And in your mind, you're thinking construction, yeah? Construction. But then when you arrive here, everything is different because the construction industry is completely different. It's different. It's so different. So it was sort of a shock, yeah? Because you try to look into the construction market and you have to know the language. You have to be like C1, C1, or B2 at least, yeah? So for me, that shift was heavy. It was heavy on me because I had to realize, okay, now that I've shifted from project management and construction and everything, I'm now in Germany. So what next? So I had to look at, because I was already comfortable with the computer. So I had to look at things like project analysis, yeah, project analytics, big data analysis, and took them up as my electives, yeah, in my master's. So that helped me realize that when you're home, I think we don't have enough information back home. And if we could get this information, if we could get such podcasts, yeah, and people get to see them back home, it would really help because it opens up your mind and you get here when you're very, very certain of what you're going to do, yeah. But for me, it was a shift, yeah, from construction, and I was so into construction in that I was getting into project management, construction, sites, and everything. So I had to take that shift. And being a project manager here for construction in Germany it would take you years, yeah, so here you have to start. It's like you start from ground up, yeah. You start from the beginning. So it was quite a shift for me, yeah.
Well,
it was a really big shift, yeah.
That's right. And yeah, that's what we see always in the journey of a migrant, that they connect between what you were used to, the qualifications that you have had, and the experiences you've had, the networks, and then you come into a new society where you have to go from scratch, and then you start wondering, why does no one recognize all this which I had?
Exactly.
And the people don't actually recognize that, not because they don't recognize it for the sake, but because the value of what you have does not fit into the new environment that you're in.
Yeah.
And this is a very typical journey that we see. And you've mentioned one of the things that you did, which were very smart. You start to adapt. You say construction, you start seeing maybe the real sense of construction, what I'm used to, this site management and all that is not relevant here anymore because of the lack of language, the legal, the knowledge about the landscaping and all this. And now you start like going towards what the society here needs. And some people remain blocked in that setup. For you, you started now to see what does the society here need and how can I align into meeting those needs here. And I guess Mike would maybe probably want to ask a question, right?
Yeah. So I guess the key thing always is that we recognize our strength, and then and say our weaknesses too. What are those things that we currently do not have? I do like the fact that you already touched on the points that you adjusted, because again, you came, you saw that it's different, and then you adjusted, and that's also one of the problems that a lot of people actually face. But then I guess now come the other question for you. With all the challenges you've been facing so far, have you ever asked yourself if it's still worth it? Like everything so far, if it's actually still worth it, Um, how long do you think you can still carry on, searching and then just hoping to land what exactly you're looking for? And if all the troubles so far, if it's worth it?
Yeah. So just to give you a backstory, we started with some friend of mine. We started in 2024.
Okay,
The
like
masters.
studying.
Yeah, studying the masters in 2024. We started in February 2024, and by September, he was like, "George, you know what? I can't. I have to go back." And he traveled back. He was from India, and he traveled back. And I keep on pondering on that story, because some people may judge him. Yeah, you may judge him, but it's hard. It's hard to explain to someone that the cultural change, the language change, the food change, you change everything about yourself, and you have to adapt. So the adaptability and to be able to be resilient and hold on to, maybe you're looking at 5 or 10 years in front. That's really hard to do. So that he didn't give up. He just said, let me go back home. I think this is not for me. Yeah. And he told our class, because we were friends and we were in the same friend group, and we used to do courseworks and things together. But he went back, he traveled back. So not to judge, but it really takes persistence. Yeah. You have to be persistent. You have to be ready for all the changes that come with it. You have to be ready to, for lack of better examples, eat the bread. Because you can eat the bread the whole week, lunch, dinner, but you get it? And then you start missing that roadside food at home and all that. Yeah, but it's really about being persistent. Yeah, you have to be persistent. You have to let go. Like you have to let loose and say, okay, now that I'm here, what should I do? Like now that I'm here, should I? Okay, this bread is there. How can I change it? How can I? You get my point, yeah? You really have to
Yeah.
You have to change your brain. You have to just switch your brain and just say, okay, now that I'm here, let me do this. And also look at that the end picture, the end goal, instead of looking at 1-2 years that you have your masters. You have to stretch yourself. You have to look at 5-10 years. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, if I have 5-10 years, what can I do now?
Yeah.
What can I do now? So that's when the language has to set in.
Yeah.
Everything
You
has to
know?
set in. You have to attend these activities. Go for the Oktoberfest. Go to integrate, so that you know what goes on. So that
Yeah.
when you're at the workplace, you're not out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's really the resilience, yeah, and just pushing when you have to push on. And that notwithstanding, most times we struggle alone. Yeah. Most people I know, they come here and you're alone, because Stephen has told me his story. We always chat, and when you hear his story, I stop feeling sorry for myself. Yeah. Because sometimes I'm like, oh man, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then he tells you stories, and you're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm still good. You're like, I'm still good.
No,
Yeah.
I'm wondering
Another
what
point.
did I tell you.
Yeah.
Just
Just before we close, another thing is I had the great opportunity to have a partner here, because she was already here. Yeah. So she helped me all through the whole process. Yeah. She's been really helpful. Yeah. She wasn't with me in Berlin, but at least having someone by your side to
Yeah.
call, and you're like, oh my God, I've eaten bread again. And then like, don't worry. I mean, tomorrow maybe you have kartoffel or whatever. Yeah. So there's also that. And if you don't have anyone, just make sure at least you call someone at home and talk about something that has happened that day.
Yeah.
Talk to them. Let them have an audience to talk to someone. Don't be in the house for 2 years alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe Stephen, just before you come in,
yes, of course.
what I would just like to add to this is also the point about what works for one might not work for the other person, and this is also when you really have to ask yourself, what do you want? Stephen, if you recall, last year when we signed when we incorporated opportunity pause formally, just after we finished from the lawyer's place, and then we're having a drink, we're just talking, and like all the effort and the energy and everything that we do, we're just saying if this was in some other country, the US, the UK.
Yeah.
And I literally asked you, Steven, are you happy with everything so far? Are you happy? We asked ourselves that because,
You're packing your bags immediately.
yeah, it's like, is it worth it? It's still the same question. So, but if you recall yesterday again, Steven, after
Uh,
I had some client visitations, I was
that
telling
was
you
deep. Deep.
about the enormous opportunity here that exists and how Germany is truly a virgin land for us. So, again, not everyone will see this, but even we ourselves, George, we also ask ourselves this question: is it worth it?
Mm,
I tell some of my friends that for some people, Germany is a downgrade, and it's a fact. If you know what you're looking for, if you understand the kind of things that you can tolerate and what you're aiming for, maybe for some people Germany might be a downgrade. For other people it might be an upgrade. But I
mm,
think for me, I see Germany as a virgin land, you know,
mm,
and that's genuinely what keeps us going, what we see, regardless of is it worth it or not.
mm.
Sure.
It's very interesting, Mike. The question, the way you asked it, is it worth it? After going through all this, and you're still going through stuff, is it
Yeah.
worth it? And I would say the answer, I didn't expect what George has said, but to connect it to the story of his resilience and the story of someone who gave up, but still not being judgmental to that person, because
Yeah.
everyone in the migration story, everyone has timelines, everyone has set their goals,
Yeah.
everyone has got dreams and wishes. And in some ways, you find those dreams, the goals, the wishes don't align. So at some point, people will get out of the queue. And those who keep going, is probably because there is something bigger they set up to achieve, that no matter what they're going through, they feel like it's still worth fighting for that. And that leads me to the next question again, George, that you just briefly already highlighted, and something that we have been saying quite often here with Mike, that we most of the time we talk about problems, we lament too much about what is happening to us, what other people are doing to us, why no one is doing this for us. But then we get the key things that lies within our abilities, that level of influence that we have, the resourcefulness that we have, the energy, the culture, the vibe that you bring with that resilience. And that brings me to the question about the practical strategies, things that you have been following. What is your script, your blueprint, and what you're still doing, even though you're not yet there where you are? Because I'm not only asking this about you or for you, but for someone else who has come to an English taught course program, has been living in this bubble and is struggling to find their place in this society. And they feel like, I wish I knew this, I wish I knew that. And now they have to come to the terms to say, do I want to go ahead? If yes, what are the practical strategies or things that have helped you to be very productive and resourceful the way you are? George?
Yeah. I think it's a couple of things, really. I could look at, first of all, back when I just come, I wanted to be so, because I'm used to, like back at university, you have friends, then after class, you go out, you maybe have a drink or something. So that cannot be the situation here. Like all the time, you can't after class and everything. So after class, you realize people go their ways. Yeah, people have student job, people have mini job, people are preoccupied actually. So one thing that I took up from school is I used to get involved in a lot of activities at school. Yeah, volunteering at school. Yeah, so I'll find myself in the students' lounge or with the lecturers or whatever would keep me busy. Yeah, because at that time you have your mini job, but of course it's not as busy as the 40 hours a week job. So you have some time on yourself. Yeah, so I found myself getting so sucked into volunteering. Yeah, in that even towards the end, I applied for a volunteer teaching assistant, and I went through, and I had a very wonderful mentor. I don't think he minds me mentioning him, Gobani Mohammed. He's a very nice guy. He put me through it. He was showing me, like, do this, no, this, you can't do this when you're in front of students, do this and that. So volunteering is key, I would say, to us who are looking to, you're looking for an opportunity. If you have some time on yourself and you're not going to put in a lot, you're not going to spend money, then volunteer. Make sure you volunteer. Make sure you're out in the world and people are seeing you. Yeah. Then internships are also there, because I also took up an internship while I was at school. So these things of getting involved, let the world see you before it pays you. I know it's a harsh statement, but let the world see you before it pays you. So I volunteered, and I'm still volunteering till now because I get called and I do some small things, yeah, but I still do till now, yeah. And I think the grant writing, the sponsorships that I look for time and again, you get to meet people, yeah. You meet people in these groups that we were put in. You meet people from all over the world, yeah. You meet people. You can have a pool of like 10 people, a team, yeah, and maybe your team lead, and from the 10 people you have people from every continent. So that's how big. Yes, you're volunteering, but you're getting to know people. You're getting to realize how someone looks at a sponsorship or a grant, how someone looks at. So it's sort of you learn how to work with other people. So I think, to me, internships and volunteering. Of course, internships are better. If you get an internship, please, by all means, go for it. But before you get that internship, because they're also difficult to get, because most internships are in Dutch. So for English speakers, this may be a little bit hard. So whenever you get the chance to volunteer, if you have time on your hands, just do it. Just volunteer. Be out there. Let the world see you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, perfect. That's what I take. Before you expect someone to pay you, show them some value for that, and that's a key word. And I think that's very, very, very valuable for anyone listening in. Yeah, Mike, maybe you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really interesting how George already touched on the next question, which I was going to ask, and also, I mean, again, this is more like further reaffirmation or affirmation of Stephen, what we always do here. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about volunteering, the essence, the need, and George, I think I'm not sure you listened to that podcast and stuff, but here we are still, and it's just coming from you again, talking about the essence of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It goes without saying. The question I was going to ask you was, why did you decide to volunteer instead of waiting? But I guess you already answered that, and I think this should be like an answer to a lot of people who are out there job hunting. The truth is, in as much as some people may frown at volunteering or unpaid internship, you also have to understand that the people who let you volunteer with them or intern with them unpaid, they also have resources which they are spending on you, you know.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways, and I would look at the things which I stand to gain rather than just say complain about it, because some people do that. And like you rightly mentioned, George, the key thing there is the networking opportunities that can be opened up to you. You'll be surprised that you may not even land that job through the company that you're volunteering with or where you're interning at. No, but they will expose you to the opportunities to land that job. And funny thing is, it's until you tell someone that I'm actually volunteering that they know. So you'd be surprised that maybe someone is even eyeing you already, that they want to hire you. Because the funny thing
Yeah.
about employment world is that every employer wants to hire someone who's currently employed, because it's like
Yeah.
someone has done the job, they've tested and all that. So,
Social
except
proof.
exactly the social proof, except you say you're volunteering, nobody knows that you grant.
Yeah.
And I think this is what people miss a lot. You
Yeah.
need that opportunity to showcase yourself, to sell yourself, to let people know that, yes, I know these things in theory, but I also know them in practice. And I think
Yeah.
in Germany, whereby no one ever hires you because they like you, because they want to pay you or whatever, they always hire you because there's a problem that needs to be solved. And as far
Yeah.
as you can show that you can solve that problem, and best would be you have evidence,
Yeah.
then there is really no question about hiring you. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted
And
to add.
just to add on to that, I had see when I used to go for those volunteering gigs once a day, you go help out in a conference or whatever, or a talk taking place at school. People will be like, George, why are you wasting time there? Like my friends at school in Berlin, they'll be like, look for mini job, yeah, look for mini job, and I tell you, guys, I already have a mini job. I already have a mini job, but I get what, 5 hours a week, maybe. You get it. Eh? So what am I going to do with the rest of the time that I have? Yeah. I'd
Right?
rather spend it at school, yeah, and learn something and connect with people and everything. Because we had a mini job. Okay, but it was a little bit of both. We were working with the Euros, yeah, 2024, the ones that were Olympia Stadion.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I attended the finals and were helping out, and it was paid volunteering, which was a very good thing, the first paid volunteering. But it was good for me because I got to attend the finals, yeah, the Euros finals, and it was a good experience. The people that you meet, you may not say hi to them, but it gives you some, you seeing all these celebrities and you're like, huh, okay. Like you're seeing all these footballers that you've been seeing on TV and everything. So volunteering, I think it opens up minds. Yeah. You're like, this can actually happen. I can actually get a job. So
Right.
it can have like it sort of pushes you, yeah. Like you're like, I think I can get a job if I apply. I can get a job. And another thing, my dad always says, if you apply 10 times and they refuse you, apply 100 times. If you apply 100 times and they refuse you, apply 1,000 times. And he laughs. He laughs out loud. But it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Like, just keep on applying. But as you're applying, have something to do. Keep busy. Yeah. Do something. Yeah. Yeah.
That is very solid. Thank you so much for mentioning that about your dad. And shout out to our volunteers out there, Joseph, Evangeline, and so at Opportunity Pals, who are doing so many things to help us to keep this platform alive. And yeah, this is also one other thing that we do at Opportunity Pals. We provide opportunities for people to volunteer, to showcase their skills and their experience. And I think, Mike, you just touched on something that is very key about volunteering and about understanding what the employers want. And most cases, the employers want to see someone who has been tried and tested somewhere, and that person brings certainty and security to you as an employer, as a business person. Which brings me to the next question, George, about value addition. Because like Mike rightly said, employers are not putting you on their salary list because they think that you're so nice, you have a beautiful face, you have a smile, you have the vibe. Employers are looking at who can help me solve the issues, the problems that my clients are facing. Who can help me get more clients? Who can help me be more visible on the market? Who can help me solve this and that problem? That's what they're looking for. And that's the value that in most cases, when we do send application letters or job application, we usually put so much about what we have trained, what we have learned, our titles, and then we forget that it's about solving their problems. They are paying us to solving problems of their clients. And the question I would like to ask George, if there is one employer today who is listening and following this discussion and says, I like that guy, and I wish I can make him be my project manager, what would you tell this person about what you bring on the table, what you bring in terms of value?
Yeah. Well, according to my move from Uganda to Germany, I think it has opened up my head a little bit. Like my mind is now open to not only being just in construction, because I was really interested in construction, in that I went and did a diploma in project planning and management. So that's how much I was interested. I was interested in construction. I'm passionate about it, yeah. But the movement here and the skills that I've been able to pick up has really helped open up my mind. So in this way, I've gained skills like my project management has definitely improved, because on the master's level, you get to open your mind up to what you actually need to do as a project manager. Yeah. And then my experience with grant coordination, yeah, and funding applications has also improved, because I work with the colleagues that I work with. They help you, and you understand these things, and then you pick up the different ways that the UK handles its grants coordination, then how Germany handles its grants, and you get to know how different governments bring in these sponsorships and everything. Yeah, and then communication and stakeholder engagement. We had an elective called leadership people management and leadership. So it helps you understand what someone is saying. How, is someone angry? Is someone going to get angry or is already angry? So you pick up those small skills without even you knowing, but you get them, the communication skills, and then the research, because I had to do a thesis for my master's. So it also helped me because I did a research on electric vehicles. Yeah. So my data was it had to be detailed, yeah, because I was doing charging points, and I did this for Berlin. I did an entirety of Germany, but I also did it specifically in Berlin. So it helped me really sharpen my research skills, yeah. And also monitoring and evaluation, because I used to do this back home. And when I came here, it even became better, because we have to, when we're doing the grants and you're searching for a sponsor, you're searching for those charity organizations, you have to look into you have to see what their cup is. You have to see how regularly they give out these grants. So all that helps you sharpen those skills. And then intercultural skills, as I've told you before, I've had to work with so many people that I didn't know that I would work with. Yeah, you sit down and you're talking to people in the UK, you're talking to people in Ghana, you're talking to people in the US, in Mexico, and you're all doing something like for an hour or two, and you're all getting to know each other, and someone is talking and someone is telling you about their experience. So it helps you develop your intercultural skills. And also, lastly, my skills that I gained from this volunteer lecturing assistant, they really helped me. My communication skills, my presentation skills, because remember, when you're starting out, of course, you have to have a mentor, someone else to show you what to do. So he really helped me understand, and they show you the smallest things in presentation. I could give you an example, like in a presentation, there are nine parts, and I didn't know that. Yeah, there are 9 parts, there are 9 squares. So those small things, and the center square is the most important, because that's where the person is looking at. You have to be illustrative, not very many words. So you pick up all these skills as you continue to present. You're presenting to the class. The class is asking questions, and you have to know how to answer these questions. How do you approach it? And if someone starts arguing with you, how do you handle them? So those small things have helped me really understand and sharpen my skills. Yeah.
Great. So from what you just mentioned, George, I get it like you're one person who is very knowledgeable and very versatile. You're not very specific. You actually cover a lot of topics, like you mentioned, project management, grant coordination, stakeholder engagement, communication, proposal writing, cross-cultural collaboration, and so on. These are all amazing things, right? And if you don't get me wrong, the biggest weakness sometimes, or the detriment, or the hurdles that most migrants face is actually knowing too much.
Yep,
that
that's true.
people look at you and they say, does this person really deserve the money that we have, the budget that we have? Will we be able to afford this person? Or is this person not too overqualified? Or sometimes there are people who are even scared that you're overqualified than themselves, who are your bosses. Now, in some cases, the strategy is to reduce it to one particular thing, to say, if I am here to solve a problem, this is the exact problem I'm going to solve for you. The story I wanted to connect this to, I remember one time we were doing project management also at university, and I had one of these classmates of mine. Everyone was trying to convince about we were pitching to a real company. We were doing a project for them, and the guy said, everyone has tried to pitch, but I want to tell you one thing: you are missing money. There is money on the table, and you're missing it. We are going to do A, B, C, D to help you make more money. And then the guy said, I like that guy. I want to take this guy on board. So sometimes it's as simple as that. So from all the things that you mentioned that you're so good at, and I'm 100% sure you do, what is one big problem that you think you can help an employer to solve?
I have been doing grant coordination for a while now. Yeah, so I think I can help someone with that right now. Grant coordination, funding applications for companies, yeah, and NGOs. So I think I can do that right now because I've been doing it, yeah, for quite some time. Yeah.
Great. So if anyone there
Yeah.
listening and watching, George, you're looking for the right person to do your grant coordination, to engage your stakeholders and to write proposals for you, this is the guy to go to. That's a small commercial. I hope you will not be charging you for that, Mike.
Yeah, but maybe we could touch on this, one of the questions we have from the audience, and we could also react to some of the comments. By the way, this podcast is brought to you live by Settling, the platform that we're building to, again, make people understand how to be prepared for migration, where you get information, connect with people, learn about their stories, so you come prepared. I think, beyond the job hunting challenge, the much bigger challenge is people not being fully prepared for where they're going to. I think that mental preparation is really important, that you're going to face this, that you have certain expectations. And that's why we're doing what we're doing today. So if you're seeing the QR code, you can scan to download the Android application of the platform, or you can also just visit it at settling.com. You will see it written here below. So, Stephen, we have this question about mini jobs. If mini jobs, if they are always available in Germany to everyone, and if there are no bias.
Yeah, so I'll
Like,
explain that. I'll try to be as brief as possible because we can talk about mini jobs for the whole podcast, but I'll
right?
explain that just a little bit. Mini jobs are valuable. Yeah. The problem is they're these agents. Yeah. They're agents that are in charge of these mini jobs. Yeah. So most times when we come as students, we go through agents. Yeah. To get these mini jobs. Yeah. So most times, if you get a chance and get a mini job directly from the employer, that's a very good thing. But most of the time, when you come here, your university or whoever or your friends will give you an idea of the agents and everything. So most times we go through the student jobs, the mini jobs. It's easier when you go through the agent, yeah, and the agents are there. The problem is with agents, most agents want you to know the language, yeah, which which is sometimes hard because you're doing a mini job and it may not be needed as much. But most of them want that. But if you're lucky enough, you get uh, flexible agents or flexible employers who are willing to take you on when you even don't know the language. But another thing to add on to this, we need, if possible, we need to prepare ourselves more. Like back home, if this should happen more, these engagements, because I have friends from I keep on giving an example of India because I have so many friends from there. So they are so set in that before he even travels, he's already on a group, yeah, on a group, and he already is looking for a Wohnung, an apartment, yeah. And before he gets here, he has paid for the apartment, and he has maybe connected through his friends, and he's lining for a job, yeah. And of course, the government supports them a lot, yeah, because they have those incentives of sending students, and they have those really good loans for students. But that aside, they really have information. So this should happen more. People need to know what goes on. So yeah, mini jobs are there. There's so many. The problem is they're through agents. That's the problem. But when you get it directly from the employer, that's a very good thing. But most times you get it through an agent. Yeah.
Stephen, you want to touch on that briefly?
Yeah, that's exactly true. The mini jobs, there are few mini jobs you can get directly from the companies or the employers themselves, or the part-time jobs. The most mini jobs are usually through the so-called site Arbeitnehmer, or the middlemen So these are companies which basically are HR companies that do go between employer, and employee, and they make a markup. Of course, let's say the company offers a job, maybe an hour they pay 10 euros. They're going to pay you 6.5 euros or 5 euros, and then they take the rest for themselves. And of course, on top of that, they also have markups. This is this challenge that most students go through, that even when you have challenges or problems, you never talk to the employer yourself. Yep. You have a grievance or anything, the person that you talk to, who is basically your employer, is that Zeitarbeitsfirma, or the yep. company that actually goes between you and the real employer. Exactly. I have been a student. I went through that most of the times. I was working in one of the top hotels in Berlin that people pay thousands of dollars to stay overnight. And if you tell someone what the students were paid and compare to what the normal people who are working with the real hotel are paid, it's incredible. But these are some of the challenges that students go through. Yes, their jobs with the mini job, actually, they are not hard to get. The problem is they don't have the same rights as the normal employees of the company who are directly employed. So the advantage would always be, the advantage for the mini jobs are that you're so much flexible, especially as a student. Is if you do have only time on the weekends or in the evening, the mini jobs are very flexible. Whereas if you do go into a straight arrangement with the company or the hotel or the employer, they are not so flexible with their contracts. If they want you to work during their time while you're at university, there's no way you're going to balance that. So that's why many students usually go to mini jobs, because of that flexibility, vis-a-vis the other challenges of being underpaid, underskilled, and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question of the person who asked.
Yeah, I think so, but I wouldn't worry if I'm not in Germany yet, if I'm going to get a mini job or not. Just come prepared, be opened, and make the right connection, and keep listening to our podcast.
Probably could mention briefly about settling. A platform that is exactly meant for that. There's so many people sharing their stories from this side to the other side. Like what George has said, we need to have a lot of these engagements and a lot of platforms where we share information, just like other communities, so that when you come, you have a jump start into the real world. You don't have to start from zero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stay connected. I think we're going to be running up gradually already now, Stephen. What do you think?
Time is running very fast. And Mike, I don't know if you have a question here, but I have one or two I'm preparing for George before I go on.
Please go on. Yeah.
So for me, I'm more interested, George. You've mentioned so much about the resilience, the adaptation, and the things that you've learned from being rejected and so on. And I'm sure that you can say something about that. What are some of the mistakes that you think most diaspora or migrant skilled worker or experts do face when they shift and come and enter into the German job market? Do you have anything that you would like to note there?
Yeah. First and foremost, I think most of the immigrants, they downplay the language and how important it is. Yeah, you come here, you relax for 3, 4, 5 years, and you're like, I'll learn. We downplay it so much. And most times we realize that it's so important later on. Yeah. So I would really encourage people. Yes, you might even get an English job. Yeah. Yes, you might even get a job immediate as soon as you come here. But please make sure, just learn the language. Just encourage us, just push yourself to learn the language, because that's one mistake that we always make. It hurts me in my class, am with, there's no better way of saying this. I'm with people who have been here for 8 years, 10 years, and they're just doing the language now with us. Okay, I know I've been here for 3 years too, but you get the point, yeah? Yeah. And in your head, you don't want to be biased, you don't want to be to sound mean, but you're like, what were you waiting for? So please don't wait. Don't wait. Integrate yourself into the system early enough so that whichever rejection you get, it pushes you to another acceptance. Yeah. Yeah. So I think integration is very key. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Integration is key. Yes, much as we would expect the other part or the other side to come our way, to come halfway or beyond, we need to also know that the society basically wants you to contribute. But if I'm an employer and my market segment or my audience is German speaker, you could be a very good project manager and you know everything about construction. But if you cannot help me to get contracts, if you cannot help me to manage those contracts, then what kind of value will I be buying or paying for? And that's a
Yeah.
big challenge that we have to think about. As much as we expect the employers to give us the opportunity, we should also be able to understand, we should have the empathy to understand what a business person is paying for.
Yeah.
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 I think that is fair enough to ask of us because when we come here, we want to be successful, but
Yeah.
learning the language and adapting and the culture and everything about that country is as important as the qualification and the skills and experiences that we bring up with ourselves. Yeah, and I think closing this, George, your story is not very isolated.
Yeah.
We lots of talented diaspora, expat, migrants
True.
who are contributing and are willing and ready to contribute. But some of the things that we have highlighted on are very, very key in stopping them from achieving that.
Yeah.
Germany needs so many skilled workers. The supply is very low. They need more people than the ones that are available. The challenge is a mismatch of resources or the talents and what actually the market or the job market needs. The question is, how do we prepare those people to meet the demands? This is a question that we ourselves have to answer, to align, to adapt, but also the market itself has to come our side and say, okay, maybe George that does not speak fluent German, maybe George does not understand everything about the German construction law or the NGO law or the proposal writing in the German understanding or context, but what kind of skills and experiences and adaptation skills or survival resilience skills does he have that I might build on and sharpen to make him the best person in 5 years to be able to contribute and bring me a lot of clients and solve lots of problems. I think it's both ways. And this is exactly our vision, that we refocus the channel to say it's not about the billions of euros that you're spending to go and look out for people. Spend that money on preparing those people who are here.
Already.
Give them a chance.
Exactly.
Train them, teach them your ways and your expectations. Give them timelines and expectations, standard and KPIs, and give them the challenge, but also the opportunity to be able to deliver. And that, if we do that from both sides, I think we'll be able to help this issue or this problem of the Fachkräftemangel or the lack of skilled laborers that we have right now. I would like to give Mike a chance to say his final remarks, and then we'll give our guest, George, the chance to pitch to his potential employer out there, whatever is on his mind.
Yeah. So thanks, Stephen, and to everyone watching us across the different media platforms. Job hunting in Germany it's a big issue. We all faced it. A couple of years ago, when I got my first professional job, that was back in 2018. Honestly, when I got home and I couldn't believe I've been hired, but then it did happen. So again, it's nothing extraordinary. And if you're someone who has worked before and you're now facing these challenges here in Germany, please understand that a lot of people have also faced it. And in most cases, it's nothing personal, really. Me now, being self-employed and working with other people, becoming now I understand it. I understand the reluctance sometimes for an employer to hire somebody. You can't actually easily put yourself in the position of an employer because you actually have to be one before you can actually put yourself in that position. So it's actually very difficult to be on the other side. The fact remains that if there are vacancies, which there are, as we know, then there's also the need, the demand for the people. So it's there, but it's just everything in between is what you have to solve. And the only way is to change your mindset. Again, you can't put yourself in the position of the employer because you haven't been one, but as much as possible, try to imagine yourself being in their position and what problem are you going to solve. And uh, it's something difficult that one can explain in a few words or in one podcast, but everything we've been trying to teach you here is to further validate the fact that yes, there is that demand, there's that need, and then more importantly, that you identify everything between and how to get there. And one way, amongst other ways, is putting yourself out there, leveraging any opportunity which you have, and not waiting until A, B, C, or X, Y, Z happens. So that's kind of the summary of what we've been talking about. And I'm very happy George is here to share his story. It actually takes guts and I would say generosity for someone to come out and just share their story, put yourself out there. So, George, thank you so very much for doing that. And
Yeah.
You're
please
welcome.
tell us what you would like your ideal employer to hear.
Thank you. Hi, my name is George Ntegeka. I'm 34 years old and I'm a Ugandan. I live in Germany. I'm a project manager by profession and a grants and funding coordinator by trade. I have skills in communication, people skills, computer skills, and I would like it if you take me up as your employer. Thank you very much.
Okay, dear employer, you heard George. Please give George a chance, get to know George better. I'm sure George has many more things to say here, which we couldn't cover. But perhaps if you had maybe 5 minutes to speak with George, he can tell you more and how he's going to improve things in your company.
Yeah. He's a great addition to anyone out there. So thank you so much, George. Like Mike has said, for putting yourself to the line here,
You're very
showing
welcome.
ability and talking to us. And I guess you might think you're doing this for yourself, but you're inspiring someone out there who is probably going into something similar or even harder or worse than yours. So thank you. It was great to hear your story. And I know that you are a great resource for anyone that would like to hire you. So thank you so much. And we wish you all the best of luck, George. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Stephen and Mike, for having me. I've had a great time. I don't know how 1 hour went by. I was like, oh
You'll be
my, 1 hour.
surprised. You'll be
Yeah, but
surprised.
thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
You're
Great.
welcome.
So,
Yeah,
to all our audience and everyone sharing their comments, we appreciate you. Um, I'm just going to go through them very briefly to let you know that we've been seeing them and we appreciate you very much. Those watching from YouTube, LinkedIn, and other places. If we're not able to take any of your questions, be sure that we are going to reply under the comments because we're already out of time. So, and share this video if you know someone who needs to watch it or listen to it. Stephen and I are going to be back with another more interesting topic in 2 weeks from now. And until then, I wish you all a nice weekend, nice Friday night. And if you're searching for a job, you can be sure that you're going to find it soon. Trust me, we all went through it. So if
yeah,
we could do it, then 100% you can do it too.
true.
Certainly.
All right.
Certainly.
Cheers, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.
Ciao.